Alright, so recently today I was out movie hunting. Got a pretty big haul actually today. Found some good stuff. I was pretty happy with it. Spent probably a little more than I probably should have, but I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go over it. Alright, so this is a 4K. I really wanted to get this one. I would love to own all like the good Pixar films. It's weird now I have to say the good Pixar films for a bit. It was all of them were good, but Ratatouille is an amazing one. Haven't seen this one in a while, but I still remember it is a very well done film and kind of really hints at a lot of notes. Like, it's one of the more adult ones in my opinion. Toy Story 3, amazing film. Got to see this in theaters. Very impactful film. I think this is a film, the older you get, the kind of closer you relate to it. It just is such a well done. So annoyed that they ruined the ending to this film by making a fourth one. I don't think it ruins that movie, but to me it just ruined the story of the whole franchise. This one you could judge me for. It was just really cheap. I was like, if this thing is less than $10, I'll get it. It was literally $10. I was like, sure, why not? Have not seen it. Did not look great. I don't really know. It'd be cool if they actually included the old, like, shitty Sonic design. But I also heard Jim Carrey's kind of entertaining in these movies, so haven't seen this movie in a bit, but wanted to get it on Blu-ray. I remember liking it, but I also remember, I don't know, for a bit, Disney seemed to have the same villain story every time, and this one kind of fell into it. But you know, like Baymax and shit, like, he was pretty cool, so I'll probably rewatch it. This one I kind of regret. It was only $3 without a paddle. I don't know, I haven't seen it. It looks okay. It looks very early 2000s comedy like. So I don't like Dax Shepard, so I'm not really looking forward to it, but it was cheap. So this film I think it was nominated for a few Oscars the year that it came out, but that is 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I've heard this is really good. It has what's her name in it, Frances McDormand, who's an amazing actress, and every film that she's in, I've heard she does a great job. So I'm excited to look forward to this one. Not too familiar with the director's work, but curious about it. All right, this next one, this could be a regret, because I'm for TV shows, I enjoy TV shows, but I'm not the biggest TV buff. I just can't. It's not that I don't like TV. But there's some of it I don't like. Sometimes with TV, you have lower budgets. You don't have a director, usually one singular writer. It's usually a group of people, so it's more collaborative. But sometimes I don't like that as much, and I just can find the time suck of TV shows, and also too, sometimes there's huge quality switches in the season. So I find I'm very reserved on TV shows that I'm watching. But right now I'm watching Sopranos. I am really enjoying that, so I'm trying to keep up with it, because sometimes I'll fall off the train of any TV show, even if it's good. It doesn't really matter. So I did pick up Battlestar Galactica season 1 and 2. I heard this was a good sci-fi show, and I was like, I might as well pick it up on Blu-ray if I'm gonna try it out. I really don't know if I'll like it. I know people love it. Like, maybe I'm hoping for maybe more of like an intelligent Star Wars, I guess. But not really sure. I don't know if it could. This also too could feel like a really dated one. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll check it out. All right, now we got another Studio Ghibli film. I've not seen this one. Actually, I think I'm just realizing I own this on Blu-ray, so I guess I just double dipped. But you know, it was a slipcover. Maybe I'll find a way to sell this or trade it for something. But no, I haven't actually seen this one, but I do really want to own all the Studio Ghibli films. They are usually pricier or hard to find, so I'm like waiting to build it up. I'm 99% sure. I'm realizing now I have this on Blu-ray. The problem with collection, man. Neil Young, Heart of Gold. I like to collect a lot of music stuff or concert CDs. This CD's kind of like, you probably can hear that. It's a little on the jacked up side, but I know I enjoy Neil Young's music. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'll definitely check this out. It's directed by Jonathan Demme, who made like Silence of the Lamb and some good like 90s movies. So I don't know, could be really good, could be really bad. I don't know. I doubt it'll be really bad. Also Canadian. All right, another one. This was a pretty infamous, I believe, independent film or like low budget film. Essentially, from what I've heard, this is like kind of like early 2000s Caligula, if you know that film. But I've heard this is a pretty wild film, pretty sexually charged film. I believe this was like an NC-17. But reason why I want to see this for a while, I know actually the director's other film, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I believe I have it downloaded. I have not seen that film yet. But also I just saw one of the females in this movie, Sukon Lee. I just watched her directed film, so wanted to check this out because she's in it, and I've just always heard some weird things about it, and it's pretty wild. Amanda Land. I don't know if I'm screwing that title up. This is a documentary. Won some awards at some festivals, but it's essentially about South African freedom music and the role that the music played into ending that apartheid, which I think is a pretty relevant subject right now. So want to check that out. I'm curious about it, curious about the quality. Next one, this is another documentary, BBC. BBC does usually put in some really good documentaries. Same thing with seems like actually anytime a government actually funds, PBS also has some amazing documentaries. CBC has some pretty good ones. But how art made the world, I don't know. I think this will be probably an interesting subject. Learn more about ancient art or the history of art that I probably would not know otherwise. So, looking forward to that. I don't know if I'm going to... So it's a polyandriums. Sorry, this is also an old Blockbuster case. Polyandromes, I think. Polyandromes? I don't know, but it is a Todd Salandos. He made Happiness, Welcome to the Dollhouse. Really interesting filmmaker, interesting writer. I've only seen those films, or I think I've seen one other Storytelling I've also saw. But I've heard his later films definitely were not as good, or he kind of lost his momentum in that. I want to check that out to see if it's true or not. So don't know anything about this film, but I think those are cool to get when you just enjoy the artist and you want to see if it is any good. So I don't really know the consensus on this, but I've heard overall his later half of films are not as good. Next is another TV show. Not sure if I'm going to enjoy it. Not sure if I'm going to get into it. Sons of Anarchy Season 1. I know this was a big cultural show last decade. It still is stuck around with streaming and stuff like that. Not really sure. I know it's about motorcycles and stuff, which I think is cool. When I pretend I'm someone who's really into motorcycles or anything like that. So this could be really boring, or something that's not for me, or it could be really cool. It seems like it's kind of a cool, a better than I don't know, a kind of show that's which maybe trying to be, but it could be interesting. And last but not least is going to be adding to my Kevin Smith collection. And this is Clerks. This is the animated series version of Clerks. Was not very well aware of it. I know he's done some animated shows with Jay and Silent Bob. But I've not seen them. So I don't really know how good they are. I don't know if they were just cash-ins or if they're actually really funny or catchy. I really do like cartoons. Adult cartoons are pretty good. So I want to check those out. All right, and the last two items, these are, I guess, an interesting form of media. These are physical audiobooks. This one I've heard this is an okay or a funny satire on autobiography. So I want to listen to it. It's also this. I think it says it's 7 hours long. So if I ever have a road trip or something, I still have a CD player in my car. So I'll just pop this in and see what it's like. The other one I was kind of surprised because most of the time when I look at the audiobooks at any thrift store or anything like that, they're usually garbage. It's just books your grandma or mom reads. Nothing that you would care about. But this one actually I'm kind of excited for just because have tried to read some of his stuff in the past and I find that you kind of struggle because usually it's a lot of information. It's quite fast. And if you ever hear him talk about anything, it can also be quite a slow trudge if you're familiar with Noam Chomsky's speech pattern and presenting style. But I do also think Noam Chomsky is also a very important political activist, linguistics. He's a genius, I think, when it comes to geopolitics, and I think it's his view on foreign affairs and military, I think, is very, very important and very thought-provoking, and he's a very well-read man. So I always want to know more about what things he said. Actually, right back there is his book on 9/11. It was an interview. I think this is also an interview that was put to book form. So want to actually hear that? I'll probably have this in the car. bumping the Noam Chomsky for the next few months. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching.